So I went and turned my VPN on, went into anonymous mode, incognito mode, and went to an obscure search browser and typed in, "What is the age of consent in Connecticut?" Her age isn't said in the movie, but the age of consent in Connecticut is 16. So she may have been legal for Beetlejuice. Welcome to Tairimo Boys Podcast. I'm your host, Cody. With me in second chair is the boy who, if you say his name 3 times, you'll summon the magical trickster. It's Jeremy, Jeremy, Jeremy.
Unleash me on the world.
Go, Jeremy, go. With me in third chair is the boy stuck in limbo, forced to haunt this podcast. It's Ryan, Ryan, Ryan.
It's showtime.
Oh, puns right out the gate.
Today, we're going to be reviewing the 1988 hit Tim Burton movie, Beetlejuice, starring Michael Keaton. Ryan, what other movies did Michael Keaton star in?
Let's see. He's been in Clean and Sober. He's been in The Paper. He's been in Multiplicity. Night Shift.
You know damn well what I was asking.
Okay, 4 of those movies you just mentioned, I've never heard of in my entire life.
Batman and Batman Returns.
Oh, don't forget The Flash.
And yeah, he's been
I
in
already
that one
forgot
too.
it.
Yep, here we are 36 years later, and Michael Keaton's returning to his hit role as Beetlejuice.
And I am so excited. I am here for this.
Me too, Jeremy.
So for anyone unfamiliar with the movie, this was really Tim Burton's second big movie after Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then right before Batman. Basically what happens in the movie is a couple, Adam and Barbara Maitfield. No, that's not right. It's Maitland, there we go. Where the hell did I get the field at?
So close.
But they're played by Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. And kids, if you're unfamiliar with Alec Baldwin, when he's not shooting people on the sets of westerns, he's on Twitter all day complaining about Trump.
God damn it!
I knew that was coming.
I literally went out of my way to make sure I got that one.
Yeah, you knew we were all waiting on that one.
They own a lovely house in a small town, and they end up dead and stuck haunting it. Why they're stuck haunting it, well, we'll discuss that, but they end up...
You bet we will.
They end up running in with a new family who bought the house, and the title character, Beetlejuice. So, Jeremy, what are your first thoughts on this movie?
I love this movie. Terrified me as a child, for good reason. Still kind of scares me as an adult, but I love this movie. Because I really, really love the cartoon.
And you're probably going to be hearing the word cartoon a lot in this review, but we'll next week, expect that review.
Can't wait.
Ryan, first thoughts?
It's a classic. It's a staple of my childhood. It's got Michael Keaton. I love this movie so much, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it.
So, viewers at home, you're probably wondering what that means. So, behind the scenes, I've complained about this movie a lot.
How dare you? I will always say that.
I'll bio-exercise you right now.
Hold on, let me speak. If you're unaware, and here's a little fun fact, Beetlejuice is only in the movie Beetlejuice for 14 and a half minutes. The majority of this movie is you're dealing with the Maitlands.
But god damn it, that 14 minutes he was in. Woohoo! Made it worth it.
So, when we've been talking behind the scenes, I've been telling these boys, I don't like this movie, because, you really don't get the full Beetlejuice experience. If you want the full Beetlejuice experience, you go and watch the cartoon. But you got to understand, that Beetlejuice is completely different because it's that's a show for kids. And,
This was PG at one time, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, this
I don't know
is,
how it happened.
yeah. This movie's PG-13, even though Michael Keaton saying fucking shit all the time. As Jeremy said, this movie scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Like I said, it's still pretty scary now.
I don't remember the last time I watched it. Did I watch it as an adult? I'm pretty sure I probably watched it over a decade ago, and I still didn't like it. Whenever I went into this viewing of the movie, I got the idea in my head. Okay, this isn't a Beetlejuice movie. This is a movie about 2 ghosts trying to haunt people. And Beetlejuice is just a side character. And with that in my mind, I realized, this is actually a pretty good movie.
Glad you came to your senses. I was about to call Beetlejuice.
All right.
Ryan, you didn't sound enthused.
No, I'm enthused. This is my enthused voice. It's mostly because I'm dead inside.
Just like Beetlejuice, who's also dead on the outside. And the Maitlands.
The guy with the shrunken head.
Oh, God. So that's one of the you boys are gonna probably understand why that scared me as a child because it reminded me of the Goombas from Super Mario Brothers.
Okay, I was trying to think, like, what does that remind me of? You're right, Jeremy. That's what it is.
I said, "Oh shit, there it is again."
But
And folks, I'm talking about live action Super Mario Brothers.
no shit.
Are you scared because it's a scary image, or are you scared because it just reminded you of that movie?
I it, fair question. Both.
We enjoyed the damn movie. Go watch our review of it, people.
Yes, we did.
And remember, it's one of our earlier works, so it's not that great of a review.
You've been warned.
Next question. What were our overall thoughts about the character Beetlejuice?
I'm here for it. I love how crazy he is and willing to kill people at any moment.
Crazy. He's a pervert, and he reminds me of one of the ghosts in the movie Scrooged.
I've never seen Scrooged.
I've never even
We'll
heard of
fix
it.
that one day.
Another movie for our backlog.
Yep.
I'll echo what these boys are saying. Like, he's just such a fun character. Not when you're a kid, though. It'll scare the shit out of you when you're a kid, but it's just completely zany and, like, Looney Toony. Like, Looney Tunes sound effects play with some of the stuff he does.
Which is even better.
And here's just some fun facts. First off, Michael Keaton always says that Beetlejuice is his favorite role.
Disagree, but okay.
Ryan has his favorite Batman. I think the whole thing comes down to the fact that Keaton ad-libbed like 90% of his lines in the movie.
He probably had so much fun with this movie. It's unrealistic.
Like I said, he's all Looney Tunesy, so yeah. I mean, you could tell he was ad-libbing that because I don't know if you boys noticed, but like at the first time he's like shown and he's doing like the fake TV commercial. At the end of it, you could tell he kind of ran out of steam. He was like trying to figure out how to finish the whole joke before he finally came up with something.
He is a genius, though.
Agreed.
And just another thing worth mentioning, this movie was supposed to be a lot darker in earlier drafts of it. Like instead of just being like a funny pervert, he's like supposed to be Beetlejuice is supposed to be like a demon and like out to murder people.
You could still get that vibe, even though they toned it down. He was still definitely out to murder people, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think he murdered 2 people.
Back in the 90s, they'd still make a cartoon out of this.
Back when a cartoon could be a cartoon.
Ryan, there was a RoboCop cartoon.
There was a RoboCop cartoon. There was a Terminator 2 toy line. There was an Aliens toy line.
Yeah, they made like cartoons out of everything back then. Like there was a Ace Ventura cartoon. There was the Mask cartoon.
Yeah, I like the Mask cartoon.
I liked both of those. I think I also liked the RoboCop cartoon as a kid. But I especially liked the Beetlejuice cartoon.
Oh yeah, grew up on that.
But yeah, they ended up toning down the movie.
Still a pretty dark movie. There was a lot of emphasized struggle, snuggles, and unaliving.
Yeah, let's talk about the unaliving.
It's everywhere.
I mean, it's interesting. So, for anyone who doesn't know, the afterlife is like a convoluted mess in the movie. And that's supposed to be the joke of it. Like, as soon as the Maitlands die, I almost said Fields again. I don't know where I'm getting that. But, like, as soon as they die, they get, like, this, like, big book that explains what they're supposed to do when they die. And, like, anytime anyone's reading this book, they're like, this reads like stereo instructions, which, like, Zoomers today, they're probably not going to understand that kind of reference. But setting up, like, a stereo back in the day was kind of hard. Kind of like a VCR timer.
What's a VCR?
That's the next thing I was going to say. Okay, it's like setting up the timer on your microwave or your stove. I've lived in my house for like 8 years, and those things have never been correct.
My power keeps going out, so I f*** up every time. So I just gave up.
Yep. But the afterlife's like some convoluted, like bureaucratic mess, and they're thrown in there like sink or swim, bitch.
Fun fact, if you unalive yourself, you become a civil worker.
Well, we'll talk about that. Well, okay. Well, first off, I love that little bit of lore. Second off, if you boys didn't see the clip yesterday, I think they kind of retconned that. But that's like really interesting. Like that's just a random throwaway line too. Where what was his name? Otho. He ends up telling like a lady they're at dinner with, like, yeah, if you unalive yourself, you're gonna end up a civil worker. And if you like earlier in the movie when the Maitlands are talking with the like lady at the front desk, and she's like, yeah, if I knew this was gonna happen, I would have done what I did. and it kind of implies that she has slit wrists. And then I don't know if you boys noticed, but their social worker Juno, her throat's slit, and anytime she's like
Yep.
smoking, like smoke's coming out of it.
Again, how was this movie PG?
It didn't have over the top violence, Jeremy.
Yeah, I guess so. Or boobs.
And here's the thing too, the budget on this movie was 15 million, and Tim Burton intentionally made it like really B-listy. So I'm surprised that this didn't turn into a B-list boys review.
Oh no, this is a A-list boys for sure.
Yeah,
Retro boys.
this movie was a smash success. It made 74.7 million. But remember, this is like $1988.
That's big money.
Yeah.
They were like, let's immediately greenlight a sequel in 36 years.
Well, they did greenlight a sequel. It was Beetlejuice goes
1 year later, we got the
Hawaiian.
Yeah, it goes Hawaiian or goes to Hawaii or whatever. And that never was made. And then we got the cartoon.
1 year later.
And I know my entire adult life they've been talking about making a sequel. It looks like they just now finally greenlit it. By the way, did you boys see the new clip that came out yesterday?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm avoiding clips.
I want to as much as possible, but it's kind
Well,
of hard.
we've got to talk about it. I think, guys, like I said, it kind of retcons the whole unaliving yourself type thing. So, as I mentioned, this movie was kind of a darker movie originally. So you're probably wondering, is like, how did Beetlejuice end up a civil worker? Because all the lore we get from him is that he was around for the bubonic plague. Well, in the original script of the movie, what ended up happening is Beetlejuice ended up getting drunk one night, was rejected by a woman, and tried to hang himself, but he messed up the noose and ended up choking out instead of snapping his neck. So that's how he would have ended up a civil worker. But the new clip kind of gets rid of that because the shrunken head guy is an accountant, and I don't think that guy unalived himself. And we find out that Beetlejuice didn't exactly unalive himself. I won't go into much spoilers, but we get Beetlejuice's origin story.
I can't wait.
We get a new movie called Beetlejuice Begins, starring Christian Bale as Beetlejuice.
Now that movie will just be called Beetle.
You know who else would make a good Beetlejuice? I thought about this.
Michael
Rob
Keaton.
Schneider. Well, Michael Keaton, he's the GOAT, but Rob Schneider would have been a good pick too.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, well, if Michael Keaton ever hangs up the electrocuted hair, Johnny Depp could step in.
Are they both going to be alive in another 36 years?
Right, anything that does good gets greenlit right away now.
In like Top Gun?
I mean, they could make another one. We're still waiting for our Dead Reckoning sequel, though.
Oh,
Jesus.
God.
Do they have a date on that yet?
Not that I've heard.
I think July of 2025.
Okay, well.
Until
Anyways,
further notice.
so boys, what did we think about Lydia in the movie?
Yeah, that was the whole forced marriage thing was a little weird.
Okay, that's the response I was looking for. So,
Lydia was fine, but that was weird.
and just remember, like the original script of this movie, he wanted to screw her. I was thinking, is like, what is the age of consent in Connecticut? So I went and turned my VPN on, went into anonymous mode, incognito mode, and went to an obscure search browser and typed in, what is the age of consent in Connecticut? Her age isn't said in the movie, but the age of consent in Connecticut is 16. So she may have been legal for Beetlejuice. But then again, Beetlejuice may have crossed state lines from the afterworld, the real world, so he might be stuck with the 18 federal age of consent.
God damn it,
And
Beetlejuice.
that is a riveting plot point, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't want to think about it. I'm just gonna say it was the age of consent. It's fine, whatever. I don't want to think about it.
Ryan, what were your thoughts?
Yes, the fake marriage was very weird. I liked her as a character, but yeah, that's weird, bro.
Yeah, I mean she's a really fun character, but maybe things were different in 1988. But yeah, kind of weird.
Do they have this moral quandary in the cartoon?
No, because they changed Beetlejuice's personality, where he's just more of a like sidekick character.
They were best friends in the cartoon instead of potential lovers.
It's disappointing that they They never utter the phrase "age of consent" in the cartoon.
Well, they didn't even utter it in this movie. It's kind of important.
God damn it.
And by the way, boys, if you remember, anytime the Maitlands left the house, they ended up on like the moon of Saturn, Titan. They were like Tim Burton worms going through the sand. Did you boys ever get the Dune vibes from that?
Especially towards the end when we had a worm rider.
I gotta wonder if that whole thing came from the fact that Dune, what was it, 82, came out years earlier.
I was thinking the same damn thing.
Originally, what was supposed to happen was every time they left the house, there'd be like something different out there. Like there'd be like a black void full of, like clockwork gears or the sandworm planet, but they just ended up sticking to the sandworm planet.
It's funny how they were able to walk back from the bridge, but then weren't able to go back outside.
They got kind of teleported, I think.
All right, I can go with that.
Jeremy, you gotta understand though, the afterlife note makes no sense.
No, especially in this movie.
It's like, okay, why are they haunting this house for? Like I said,
Why specifically 120 years?
125, Jeremy, get it right.
125, Jesus.
It's like, didn't they think like maybe low IQ people aren't going to be able to understand this book? Like, do they go to like heaven or hell after the 125 or? And then like Juno gets mad at them. It's like, you expose ghosts to the world. It's like, how are they supposed to know? They don't understand the book.
Complicated book. It's like programming stereo. We discussed how tough that was. You know, boys, I gotta say it. There was one true villain in this movie. In a movie full of dark and bad people, there's one true villain. Boys, want to take a crack at it?
Well, I mean, you got Beetlejuice for age of consent.
Okay, okay, stop saying that.
It's Delia Dietz.
Dealer Deets. Okay. Wrong. Ryan, you want to take a swing at it?
Robert Goulet.
Also good, but wrong. It was the one confirmed murderer.
The dog.
The dog.
Dog, yeah.
That asshole looked at him and was like, nope, fuck you guys. Jumped off that board and killed him.
I don't know
Like
if
what James Bond did to Sean Bean.
Exactly.
If you boys didn't notice it, they've got a bumper sticker that says "I break for animals."
I missed that.
But if they would have stepped on the gas for animals, they would have made it back home.
Yep.
And fun fact for you, their death was supposed to be a lot more violent in the original draft of the movie.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
Like, you remember when as soon as it is like Barbara walks back into the house, she's like, "My arm feels frozen." That's kind of a remnant of that because like her arm ended up getting crushed. If you ever wondered why Adam and Barbara didn't look like their deathly selves like every other dead character, it's because Tim Burton didn't want to have them wet the entire movie because it'd be uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, that would have sucked. Good guy Tim Burton.
All right, time to film. Splash him with some water.
Get the spritzer out. Also, fun fact: do you know Beetlejuice has seen the movie Exorcist 167 times, and it gets better every time he watches it.
That's how he's an expert at what he does. And as we talked about in one of our Ghostbusters reviews, the Ghostbusters have had a run-in with Beetlejuice before.
Beetlejuice needs more crossovers.
I forgot to see if that comic book's available. Did you see the comic book cover of Beetlejuice standing behind Michael Keaton's Batman?
No.
Oh my god, I have not seen it, but I need it.
I'm getting that framed.
You have it?
No, not yet.
Oh,
I will, though.
hell yeah.
We'll do a follow-up on that, people at home.
Yep.
Till we forget.
Yep.
So, boys, what was our favorite scene in the movie?
All 14 and a half minutes with Beetlejuice.
Jeremy's
I'm
going,
sticking with that.
You're going with multiple scenes.
Yeah, any scene with Beetlejuice, I just absolutely loved.
Also, any scene with Beetlejuice, but I will shout. The one I will shout out above all is when he meets the Maitlands for the first time. Hawks a loogie in his jacket.
I saw it, like, I'm saving that for later. Yeah, that's supposed to get you the idea. This guy's gross. You don't want to be dealing with him. I mean, they were warned.
Yeah, that's on them. They called him.
I'm gonna say something different. I liked like the follow up from the like dinner party thing where the Maitlands like possess everyone and having them dance, and you got the shrimp hands because you're cheering them on. Like, yeah, they finally did it. They finally got unlocked their ghost abilities and are scaring people. And then it goes back downstairs. Like everyone's so fun and having a good time. Like, oh wow, we encountered ghosts. Like we're gonna make a fortune from this.
That's what I do. Capitalize. And merchandise.
Okay, yogurt. All right. Before we pass the topic, boys, what are our expectations for Beetlejuice?
Pretty damn high.
Well,
It's following up to the greatest pieces of media entertainment out there. I don't want to hold it too high, but I just want to have a good time out of it.
That it won't suck. I'm expecting it to be a hybrid of the movie and the cartoon.
That would be good.
That's just the vibes I get from the trailers.
for me, they're definitely gonna turn down Beetlejuice's perviness because we live in the modern world.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Among other things that will need to be toned down, because we also live in a very sensitive modern world.
But I think we're well. I don't think I know for certain we're gonna get more Beetlejuice this time. And
Oh, there has to be. It's what we've been waiting for.
and we know the Maitlands aren't gonna be in the movie because Alec Baldwin was dealing with his murder trial, and I don't know about Gina Davis, but
I don't think she's gonna be in the movie either.
it's literally just Lydia and her stepmom that's returning. Well, aside from me, Michael Keaton, but the boys been avoiding the trailers, and you can kind of figure out the plot. But
And that's why we're avoiding the trailers.
we'll see. We'll definitely get more Beetlejuice this time. More than 14 and a half minutes. All right, Jeremy, pass Top Gun to you.
There's more to go along with your comment from earlier, Cody, about especially only 14 and a half minutes of Beetlejuice. I still enjoyed the movie as a whole as a kid because I really like the whole idea of like the whole afterlife and how crazy it was and seeing all the different characters. Even though they scared the shit out of me, I still really enjoyed that part of the movie. And also happens to be some of my favorite scenes was when they were in the afterlife. Especially now rewatching it as an adult, you can understand a lot more of the humor.
Yep.
And shame on my parents for letting me watch this as a child.
Ryan, pass Top Gun to you.
I must not have been paying attention at one point. How did the Maitlands specifically, well, how did the Maitlands know how to pronounce his name correctly? Because throughout the first part of the movie, Adam keeps going like, what's his name? Beetlegeuse?
Betelgeuse.
Beetleman? Beetlemania?
And they
Then all of a sudden
specifically
it's
read
Beetlejuice.
Betelgeuse. Yeah, they specifically read that too. That was here, like here lies Betelgeuse was on his grave.
Yeah.
Did they go to?
It was never said.
Did they go to Juno first? Who warned? Yeah, I think they went to Juno first, and then
Did she say?
like, yeah, we met this like
Beetlejuice.
bioexorcist Betelgeuse thing. I think that's what happened. And then she pronounced it like, well, she didn't pronounce his name because she hushed him whenever as soon as
Right.
as soon as Alec Baldwin said like Beetle, I was like, nope, don't say his name. Yeah,
And Beetlejuice can't say his own name. I don't think it was ever talked about.
yeah. I know he played like charades with Lydia, but that was like the end of the movie. And
His final 4 minutes of his 14 and a half.
And by the way, I forgot to talk about this. So, if you notice the title of the movie and the way his name is spelled is completely different. Did you boys ever wonder why it was different?
Enlighten me.
So the answer to that is first off, the whole Betelgeuse spelling of his name. That's like one of the stars in like the Orion constellation. The reason it's pronounced and marketed as Beetlejuice is because, I mean, basically that one, it's funny, and two, it's marketing. Like if the movie had been titled Betelgeuse the way it's spelled, then people would have
It
been,
might not sound as gamey.
yeah, it wouldn't have sounded as like funny, and people would have been like, oh, sounds like a weird movie, so I'm not gonna go see it. But Beetlejuice, that's a silly 2 words, so I'm gonna go see the movie.
Some Beetles get juiced.
They should have just stuck with the whole Beetlejuice name, but then you wouldn't have gotten the mispronunciation scene. But Ryan, you probably found a plot point problem.
It's always fun to find plot point problems. It's what we do here at the Tairimo Boys.
Yep, nitpicking and bitching.
Mm-hmm. It's what we're good at. It's not much to bitch about with this movie, though.
And the fact it scared the shit out of us as kids.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of movies that scared the shit out of me as a kid, but
Anything else, Ryan?
Has everybody seen the movie No Time to Die?
sounds familiar, but I don't remember it.
Which Bond movie is that?
The last one with Daniel Craig.
The Bukkake and Missiles one?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
No.
I blocked that out of my memory for a reason.
So there's a scene in it where James Bond rides on a scooter and the woman drives. And that
Yes.
was one of the many reasons it was accused of being woke. In this movie, Barbara drives and Adam rides passenger. But does that retroactively make this movie woke?
I think it's supposed to make him like look very soy boy.
That's all I got.
That was good. Too many dark elements for it to be woke.
We'll have to see about the sequel.
Yeah, especially the part where Beetlejuice gropes Barbara.
Don't forget the scene where he's using a stick to lift up her skirt.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't think we're going to see anything like that in the sequel.
No, I don't think so.
All right, Jeremy, final thoughts?
I love this movie. I've always loved this movie. Again, scared the shit out of me as a kid. Grew up watching this and the cartoon. Shame on my parents, but yeah, it's great. Watch it.
Ryan, final thoughts?
It's just awesome. It's just a warm, reverted blanket.
Reverted blanket that's groping you. Ryan, do you have like one of those weighted blankets?
Nope. If they make a Beetlejuice one, I'll buy it.
Oh, what are those Japanese pillows called?
Uh, Waifus?
No, that's a whatever. Tell us in comments if what are those things are called. I think it starts with a D, but what a stupid derailment.
Well, it fits for a Beetlejuice movie.
Okay, well, my final thoughts. If you hated this movie as a kid, you rewatch it and be like, this isn't a Beetlejuice movie, then you're definitely going to enjoy it. Just enjoy the plot for what it is and the fact that Beetlejuice is kind of a side character in the whole thing. And by the way, originally they weren't going to name the movie Beetlejuice. They were like going to name it like Haunted House, or other one was Scared Sheetless. Tim Burton.
That's scared cheapness. That's pretty good. I probably still would have watched it.
Tim Burton suggested that as like a joke, and he was actually given the green light to name the movie that.
Scared sheetless. That's how I was as a kid watching this movie. I was scared sheetless.
Yeah, don't let your kids watch this movie. It'll scare the shit out of them. All right. So, Jeremy, we're going to do a Tim Burton scale today.
Ooh.
So, on a scale of The Nightmare Before Christmas to Mars Attacks, where would you rank this movie?
Oh my god, you asshole with this one. Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my very, very, very top favorite movies. I have to put Beetlejuice just underneath it.
Fair enough. Ryan?
I've never seen The Nightmare Before Christmas, but I love Mars Attacks.
Oh my god.
So I'm putting it above Mars Attacks.
Oh my god. All right, Nightmare Before Christmas. It's getting moved up in the priority list.
Yeah, well, are we going to watch it for around Christmas or Halloween?
Halloween. That is a must.
Is it a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas movie?
It's the Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a little bit of both.
For the longest time, I thought that was a Labor Day movie.
We could watch it Labor Day if you want to. Right around the corner.
No, it's Beetlejuice time.
Okay, it's Beetlejuice time. But we are returning to this. Mark my words.
We're returning to it. But as for me, it's up there, close to Nightmare Before Christmas. Won't be above it because I remember like a decade ago I was watching that in Lion King like every night. That's like a classic movie. That's another movie I remember watching as a kid. Then I had like a nightmare on it. And didn't watch it again until I was an adult. But
I seriously have a tattoo that looks like Oogie Boogie's face.
Where did this nightmare take place, Cody? Before Christmas?
I don't know the exact date, but whatever. We'll discuss that nightmare more when we get to
one
the
more
review.
fun fact. One more fun fact about it. I watch that movie twice a year. Yes, once around Halloween and once right before Christmas.
Okay, well, stop derailing the whole thing.
I watch Batman Returns at Christmas.
All right, but
Back on track.
Back on track. Mars Attacks. It's kind of a cult classic movie. A lot of people. It's generally a bad movie, but people will still enjoy it. This ain't like the usual scale where we have like Battlefield Earth or The Last Jedi at the bottom of the chart.
It is Tim Burton we're talking about after all.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Tairimo Boys podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what those damn pillows are called. Don't forget to ring that motherfucking bell. Stay tuned for more episodes.